2 races in Munich and 1 in Madrid. We keep seeing Quad Force 1 and Next Blaze Racing meeting each other. If it happens again, this team will need to start their progress from now. Onto the stage in the center of a bull ring. Please welcome the American team picking up fans and picking up wins. They are Quad Force 1. And you can probably tell loads of support, as you'd expect in the capital of Spain, for the local team, Spain Drone Team. These guys know each other well. They haven't just been put together for this. They are a team who race in many different drone racing tournaments together. They're very, very good pilots, but they're 8th in qualifying today, and I think we're 7th in qualifying yesterday. It is a really tough circuit. It caused a lot of problems yesterday for pilots.
Definitely.
And Martin, as you were pointing out, one of the main reasons for that is simply because at no point are you flying over level ground.
Right, right. And also, since we're flying in a bowl and around us, pretty much, it's quite difficult for pilots to have a point of recognition of where they are in the track.
You'll get to see that track at speed now. If you thought it was quick earlier with the little preview we gave you, you haven't seen it yet. Corey Ibanez will start things off. He is just putting his goggles on. They're all flying FPV, of course, first-person view, which means it's like they're actually piloting the drone itself. And there, if you do attend any of our events, as you see, we do actually have goggles that people can try where you can live see what the pilots are seeing as they fly, and that's exactly what we will bring you as well. You'll see it as they do. Corey Ibanez there for Quad Force 1, and his opponent, Carlos J. Gómez Carril of Spain Drone Team. It's Ibanez with that light blue drone well out in the lead for Quad Force 1, and Gómez Carril in the greyish, whitish one, coming in behind in 1.27 seconds out of the blocks and into that first chicane. Ibanez well on his way into chicane number 2. That's sort of the 3/4 point of our lap, as we showed you earlier, and he completes lap 1 behind the stage where they're flying through the DCL gate and around into the first chicane of the second lap. Gómez Carril is just entering the chicane as Ibanez finds his way out of it. Ibanez clocked up plenty of points. Yes, he got 2 wins in single heats out of 3. Though, as you can see, Gómez Carril is going to cause the same kind of issues for our spotters and review team as Spain Drone Team did yesterday. He's under review for a wrong flight. That means they need to check whether he made it either through a gate or round a pylon the correct way. They really struggled with finishes yesterday. They didn't manage to pick up any wins in their quarterfinal, and I think only Roberto Gómez, who you'll see later on, even managed to finish. This Gómez Carril, though, is still on the way around on his 3rd lap. He's into the second chicane now. Coming out through the DCL gate as we go on board with him, you can see exactly what it's like. This is live for the pilots. This is what he sees. A low battery warning is not something he'll be thrilled about, but he's got time to fight. He's in all sorts of trouble again. He's got to find his way to the crash gate. The 2 Red Bulls there are a big indicator for him. He's in, but he is a long way behind. That's a heat point for Corey Ibanez, but a lot of support for both pilots. It's important that Carril finishes that because we have finisher points. He'll pick one up, that's that +1 FP. By getting it to the end, you get a finisher point, and if it is a dead heat between 2 teams on heat points, finisher points are what are used to settle it, and you get those not only by finishing laps in racing, but also in qualifying in our practice sessions that we've had earlier on too. So the finish is worth getting even if it is 26 seconds behind.
Yep. Yeah, there's absolutely no denying in the skills and speed of Quad Force 1 at this point. Fastest qualifier of the day.
Yeah, as a team,
tear.
Yeah. And they got that fastest qualifier spot by having the best times of their pilots added together, and that being a better time than everyone else. We'll tell you quite how dominant they were in qualifying in a little while. We'll concentrate now with the blue drone of young 15-year-old Evan Turner against Adrian Lopez Hernandez in the white drone for the Spain Drone Team. Into the first chicane with Turner nearly just over a second in front of Lopez Hernandez, who joined us in the 2017 season. He was underground with us in Transylvania at Halloween when we raced in the salt mine of Salina Terda. He's 3.5 seconds behind Evan Turner now, who is pulling away, as we have seen him do time and time again. Hernandez cut a half a second off that gap, but has flagged up that maybe he's gone the wrong way to do it. This will be reviewed, but Evan Turner is out in front, making that review pretty redundant at the moment. He's onto his third lap. Nice and smoothly done. He is an extremely fast pilot. Some people reckon this 15-year-old is the best of all the pilots from the USA. Not just here, but in the USA. 10 seconds now sees Lopez Hernandez behind him. To be honest, a finish for the Spain drone team is something better than they did yesterday, but in no way is it what they are here to do. Lopez Hernandez completes his last chicane of the third lap. Turner is already goggles off and high-fiving his teammates. That, I think, might be Adrian Lopez Hernandez coming into the finish, but I really think he might have missed that final pylon doing so. He was already under review for a wrong flight. I'm not sure that finisher point will stick, but at the moment, 2-0 for Quad Force 1 is looking like finisher points won't even matter.
Yeah, this is what happens when you get that first qualifier seat. The fastest qualifier will go up against the slowest qualifier. And as much as I like to see the Spanish drone team do well here, I'm afraid they're outclassed.
Alex Campbell, chief for Quad Force 1. Second, helped the team come second in our races out of Munich. He was first in the Memphis Barnstormers in his own right, and third in the Sebring team race. Roberto Gómez is his opponent, second in the Campeonato de Andalucía. You might know him as Gondi. That's his racing name, and he will be on the drone. Not the most right one of your picture, but the one next to that. Those are interesting starting blocks that we have. And as you were saying, Martijn, for teams, we raced the fastest team after the qualifying results against the slowest. So this is the first versus 8th seed, as you would expect in a normal kind of knockout bracket. But as the pilots line up against each other, the slowest respectively in qualifying for each team have raced each other, then the next. These were the second fastest for each team. They are Campbell and Gómez, and Campbell with the better start. And Gómez with a slow exit from the blocks around the pylon and through the gate, and he is 1.29 seconds behind Chief, who goes through the Breitling gate and pulls away, getting towards what looks like a half a lap lead. They'll go through the second chicane. Campbell leaves it, enters it, and Campbell's out on lap 2, and it's 3 seconds now. He finds his way through the first chicane of lap 2. Gómez is there, just about off the edge of your picture. And being flagged up for a wrong flight. Yeah, it didn't look like he made much of that first chicane. Meanwhile, Campbell is well away now. Very clean flying, 7.5 seconds. Out here in the bowl, it's a pretty quick lap time. They've done some incredible ones. I think our fastest laps were coming in at something like 14 seconds to do the whole thing in qualifying earlier on. Campbell now with a time of 50.06, swings it round, drops it in. I say drop. Drops it into the Red Bull crash gate via bouncing it off the ceiling of the entrance. And Gómez will get his entry into the Red Bull crash gate cleanly done in a time of just over 10 seconds behind him. Have doubts whether that finisher point will stick, but that's 3-0 to Quad Force 1.
Yeah, awesome racing by Alex Campbell. He's actually ranked number 2 in the overall pilot, in the individual pilot rankings.
For today's qualifying?
For today's qualifying, he only has one pilot in front of him, and that's going to be our next pilot, Andy Marakilian.
That's his drone.
That's his drone.
And that is a terrifying sight for all the other pilots who are here with us in Madrid, because Andy Marakilian, he was fastest in qualifying yesterday. Today, he is fastest in qualifying as well, and he's even better.
He is, yeah. There's absolutely no denying in his skill. He actually managed to take 2.5 seconds of his 3 consecutive laps compared to yesterday.
And he was nearly 3 seconds faster than the second pilot yesterday.
Yes.
So 3 seconds quicker than his closest rival yesterday, and he is 2.5 seconds faster than himself today.
Yep.
And Alex Campbell, his teammate, moved up into second. Quad Force 1 are deadly dangerous today here in Madrid. They made it to the final yesterday. They lost to Next Blades Racing. They wanted to win it being Independence Day yesterday as well. Let's see what they've got. Andy Marakilian is against Arturo Dinero Rivera, who has got his hands full with Marakilian out in front of him, but only a quarter of a second between them. And Dinero Rivera sees Marakilian in his sights. Marakilian goes into the second chicane. Oh, Dinero Rivera is sort of mixed up a 180 switchback with a split S. He's lost a lot of time there. He's still in it. Still in the air, but the gap now somewhat more significant, beginning with 2 and having a 0.2 after it. Marakilian a long way ahead. You don't want to do that to anybody when you're racing in something as professional and high standard as the Drone Champions League. And Dinero Rivera now being flagged for a wrong flight. Yeah, he's got himself into a muddle. It is a difficult course. It is currently 25 minutes past 9. It's still daylight here, but as we go through this evening's racing, and we have 35 races for you in total, as we go through this evening's racing, you will see it get completely dark. This course will light up, it changes. In the daytime, it's perhaps more difficult, Martijn, than in the night, would you say? It's so, like, consistently grey, this bowl.
Yeah, it is. But I'm not sure if I'm completely with you there, because flying by night, there's very little contrast coming in from the FPV camera that's on board. So yeah, I would say I would prefer flying by day, actually.
I think what the night has brought is obviously the gates are more prominent, and if we're getting a lot of flags for wrong flight, as though people are missing pylons and so on.
Yeah, definitely.
They are pretty obvious here in the daylight, as you can see on screen, and even more so at night. But where I think pilots get into more trouble at night, and certainly one reason why the night course might be harder, is these handrails. Remember, this is a bowl.
Oh, yeah.
There are white metal rails leading down from the top of the bowl to the bottom, because this is where, these are seats. Sometimes people bring cushions to the bullfighting, but those are the seats. It's 87 years old. You can just see them on the little edges of your picture there above our stage on the left-hand side. Those are white metal railings. And at night, pilots are finding them, hitting themselves very quickly.
You're absolutely right there, Matt. We've seen some carnage yesterday.
Yes, we did.
Explosions all over.
Fire.
We
had our first DCL fire, I think.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
By which I mean a drone, not like us.
Aha.
4-0, Quad Force 1. So what can Spain Drone Team do? Well, not a lot, if I'm honest with you. If they get first, second, third, and fourth in this big heat, they will pick up 4 points. That'll make it 4 all on heat points. But finisher points are too big to be overcome there. So Spain Drone Team are going to be leaving us at this quarterfinal stage. That'll be it for their time with us here in Madrid. But they would love to please this crowd here in La Ventus with a win in this big heat. Getting all 4 into the front would be astonishing. Getting 1 to the front will lift this place up, I have no doubt. It is our first big heat of today. And it is a couple of blue drones for Quad Force 1, but a lot of white activity behind him. And it is Dinero Rivera who lead the charge until Dinero Rivera goes down. Gómez and Gómez Carril are still in this for Spain Drone Team, and Adrian Lopez Hernandez right at the back, but that's okay. There are 3 laps to this, and a lot can happen in a big heat. Meanwhile, out in front, deadly Andy Marakilian is there, and Alex Campbell is up with him. Gómez still rolling around in third. You see him there, hitting the first part of the chicane. Switchback 180, he's out through the DCL gate. He's nearly 2 seconds behind Marakilian. Marakilian now 33.47. Even Alex Campbell can't keep up with him. He goes through the Breitling gate, comes around to the halfway point of the circuit. The second chicane is upon us. Marakilian and Campbell are in it. Ibanez and Turner are up there, and all of Spain Drone Team are gone. It could be the rarely seen 4-point sweep, but it's not going away. Spain Drone Team wanted it. If they can find the home, 2 are in, 3 are in. Turner will join them. A wrong flag, a wrong flight flag might spoil their party of whether or not they got all 4 points, but they've got the semi-finals.
Yeah, this is where we see Hernandez Lopez struggling with the metal beams.
Yeah, we just mentioned them. That is a Quad Force 1 semi-final, a big demolition job over the Spain Drone Team. We've had fun with those guys, but we've not had a lot of racing for them as they wave goodbye from our stage with some smiles on their faces. I think they've loved the chance to compete on an international world championship stage here in Spain, but they leave it way too early. We will have an interview with Chief from Quad Force 1 on our stage. Alex Campbell for Quad Force 1, congratulations to you. You're through to the semi-finals. We see that quite a lot from you.
We do what we can, you know. We just go out here and give it 100% every heat. Whatever happens, happens. We're here to have fun first, and doing good is just a bonus.
It might just be a bonus, but you happen to be pretty good at doing good as well. Is that the secret to your team? It's fun first?
You know, there's definitely a lot of stress goes into drone racing, but as long as we have fun first, you're always going to have highs and lows. The hardest part about it is having fun when you're in your low spots with all these guys, and they're like family to me. You know, I wouldn't want to compete with anybody else.
One quick question for you. You made it to the grand final yesterday here in Madrid. You really want the big W today?
Oh, you know what we want.
Thank you, Alex. We'll see you in the semi-finals.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
What
Alex
a great
Campbell,
character.
including the last time we raced here in Madrid. The Next Place Racing are out of the way. Best in qualifying and even more so today. So dominant over their previous lap times for qualifying last time we raced in Madrid. There is the back of a Quad Force 1 jersey worn by the Chief. They're always in good spirits. He said earlier on when we interviewed him how much it's about fun for them, but don't underestimate this team. Their opposition are a real challenge as well. In the semi-finals are Japanese representatives, Raiden Racing. This is a great scrap, Martin, because these are two teams who've really got the bit between their teeth here. Quad Force 1 know this circuit well, were great on it last time we raced in Madrid, but didn't win it. Raiden Racing were brilliant the first times we saw him, which was 2 weeks ago in Munich. Nobody knew who this team was. We did. That's why they're here in the Drone Champions League. They were terrific. Out in Munich, they made 2 finals, didn't win them, but just made such a huge, made the final on first day of racing, and they went out in the semi-finals of the second day. Yesterday, we were sort of warming things up here in Munich, and when they've raced on this circuit before, they just couldn't get it to work. Today, Raiden Racing are back.
Yes, they are. Definitely. Suzuki, actually, who we have in picture here right now, he's only been flying 1 year. Very talented pilot.
He's really good, Takumi.
Quad Force 1 managed to have first in qualifying, second in qualifying, fourth and seventh.
I mean, that's just devastating, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not just an individual pilot. They're just owning it. Corey Ibanez is away from Takumi Suzuki on the start of our semi-finals. Suzuki not far behind, and he's a great young pilot. And it's just amazing seeing how fearless these young pilots are. But then when we talk to them outside of the racing as well, they're also just all so nice young men. And it's this 13-year-old Suzuki. He's got Ibanez in front of him, but Ibanez is low. Now you get a first view there of how dark it is and how different that picture looks and the hand railings we talked about. I bet they claim someone before the end of the night. They did last time in Madrid. Suzuki comes onto lap 2.5 seconds behind Ibanez, who's gone round the pylon there in the middle of the second chicane. Oh, sorry, first chicane, I beg your pardon, on lap 3. Suzuki took a little bit of a bite out of him, but he's got to make the turns count now. He's come into that chicane nice and quick, but 3 laps are down, and Ibanez is still in the lead. He's cleanly through both of the DTL gates, and Ibanez finds his way, snaking his way towards the crash gate. Now, for a moment there, it looked like he thought he had so much time. Maybe he didn't have to worry where Suzuki was behind him. If Suzuki had nailed that final turn, Ibanez might have had a nasty surprise.
Yeah. Suzuki had to do some massive corrections to be able to take the gates. A beautifully lit track here.
Yeah, that makes it suggest that Suzuki was a long way behind, but it wasn't too much between them during that race. It ended with 2 and a bit seconds between them. But Suzuki, decent flight from him.
Definitely, yeah.
Ibanez, though, as you mentioned, Martin, that's a team who just demolished lap times in qualifying earlier on today. Now here's Evan Turner.
And yeah.
This is a fight I've been hoping to see. Evan Turner, heads up FPV. He's got that shiny blue drone. The one that lights up on his right is Lengkong's 14-year-old Indonesian superstar, best pilot in Indonesia. Oh, and he's out. Straight into a crash gate of a chicane. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is a protest flag. Now this is very interesting. So this is the first time we've seen this actually at any of our races in Madrid. The pilots have protest flags on stage. They wave them. That means they're asking for a rerun to be considered, and there are certain parameters in which they can do that. They can't muck around with those things. You don't wave protest flags unnecessarily. There's fines and stuff involved.
Yeah.
You protest when there's something to do. It's not a thing like gamesmanship at all. It's a real thing. So, what do you think, Martin? You got any input into why Lenkong is asking for a rerun?
To be
Did he
honest,
have a
no,
video
man.
issue, which is why he bought that gate?
I didn't see any video issues there. What could have happened is that he had a connection failure to his transmitter to actually steer the drone. We haven't seen it before here in Madrid.
So that is a protest on stage by Raiden Racing's captain for these races. It's being officially given to Lucas Baumann live here in Madrid, asking for something to be officially investigated. I suspect what will happen is we will move on to single heat 3 while that is being investigated by our big team of adjudicators, and then Lucas Baumann, our chief judge, will give us the result in due course. But that is definitely looking like a real protest, and Lenkong is goggles on. He's third in your picture there. Lenkong is goggles on like he's expecting another flight.
Yeah.
If it's a video issue, and we haven't had much of that recently during the 2018 season, if it's a video issue, then we investigate where the failure is. And if it's deemed to be drone or goggles or anything pilot related, whether it's set up or during the race, if it is drone side,
Yep.
then there's no rerun. But if it is track side, if it's something to do with the video systems here, which lost the video picture, and that's why he crashed, because he literally couldn't see who was going. And if it's track side, then a rerun is granted. We'll find out from Lucas Baumann as to whether a rerun is granted and what happened for Lenkong. He looks confident on a stage like he's going to be flying again.
Yeah, what could have happened as well, actually, is I'm sure that the feed was correct, but perhaps there was something wrong with the cable.
Goggles are up now, as you see. He's the 7th pilot from the left on your picture there. The slowest pilot for each team sit on the outer seats. The fastest pilot for each team sit on the innermost ones. And we go closer towards the center as we make our way through single heats. Given that Lenkong is now goggles off and holding a protest sheet, I suspect that's not gone the way he hoped.
And next up is Alex Campbell.
Lucas Baumann, our chief judge, is going to give a decision to our awesome audience here in Madrid. Yeah, we see you. Bye, she says. And there's a dab. Had to dab, didn't you? Yeah. Lucas.
We have a protest for pilot number 7 for video issues, and we're going to review the footage and decide on it after the big heat.
So Lucas.
Okay, so the rerun may or may not happen,
Yep.
but it's being investigated still, so I think single heat 3, yep, there it is. That's going to be single heat 3. So currently, it is 1 point, only one, to Quad Force 1, and Evan Turner's win over Lenkong may have to be rerun. But Quad Force 1 got the first one, Corey
10
Ibanez.
seconds countdown.
Alex Campbell chases, tries to get in front of, maybe behind, Junichi Goto of Raiden Racing. Lenkong to the right of his pictures, waiting to see if those goggles need to come back down. Goto's got his on, his yellow drone's in the air. Campbell's blue one is in front of him, but not much in it. But a few bits of noise in the air as Campbell clips it already and is out of this. Campbell's goggles off. His Mara Killian's dad, who's on stage and looking after them, is fist bumping him. Campbell's not looking too disappointed there. Goto's point on the board for Raiden Racing. Campbell immediately goggles off and fist bumping like, yep, okay,
Yeah.
my bad.
Can happen. Yeah. Clip the first gate dead on.
Why is it that the start of our course, and you want to describe it as the first turn,
Yeah.
but the whole course is a turn? Why is that bit causing so many issues for our pilots? In particular, this gate. They really want to break it again like they did yesterday.
Yeah. Launching, that's what we call starting. But starting as fast
10
as possible
seconds
is a
countdown.
very big part of racing. Pilots are just so focused on getting ahead of their competition in the beginning of the race.
You've got to make a turn, though, and that gate is looming. Andy Marakilian against Kasuma Asami. Marakilian, first in qualifying today, first in qualifying just every time we fly in Madrid, is away. Asami still in the air. Young Kasuma Asami, 17-year-old pilot. Looking at 25-year-old Marakilian away from him in the chicane. That one is done, and it's another amazing time of 13.88 for Marakilian on the exit of the first lap. 5 seconds later, he's away through the chicane as Asami enters it 3 and a bit seconds behind him. Chicane number 2, no problem. This is how you fly a bullfighting ring in Madrid. Marakilian just knows, like he's been flying this course every day of his life. I tell you, he hasn't. It's not been around. They had no pre-advance time, no days and days of stuff on this course. We do make a simulation of the course available to these pilots, and you can fly on it as well if you're into your racing simulations. There is a model, a 3D track of all of our courses that you can race on from home, and some of the pilots do that to get used to it and get to learn the course. But other pilots decide they don't want to spend too much time on that, they don't want to learn it too well, then they have to unlearn it in real life. However, Marakilian has learned this track, he knows every bit of it.
Oh yeah, this track has got Marakilian written all over it. Coming in as the fastest qualifier today.
And even faster than he was yesterday.
Yeah, but also he's used to this long, fast outdoor tracks. That's what he's used to flying in America.
And you can see that they didn't just clock up really quick qualifying laps at the expense of, do or die. 24 finisher points for Quad Force 1. Just lap after lap after lap, getting in the books, getting them counted, getting them finished. This team have to be beaten outright in heat points. No one's going to come close to them. And you'd argue, from the qualifying positions they've got, they are so much the favourite here today. But they've just never got it done in a final, and they've had a couple of goes at it. Next Blades Racing is the one who's always beat them to it. Surely now Quad Force 1 think this day is theirs.
Yeah, they do. They're confident all over. I just spoke to them actually before this race.
What you're looking at there is our startup board. That's held up in front of the cameras for every race. Changes, obviously, from heat to heat, race to race.
Yeah,
and then our runners on the starting blocks there tell our pilots to test the props. So first, we test the video issues with that whiteboard, and then we signal to them, okay, try and spin the props when you can see us. And they can, and they spin the props, so we know the drones are armed and ready to go.
Yes. And also, what arming means is
10 seconds countdown.
Powering up the drone. Basically, like turning on the car.
Yep. Just make sure all systems go.
Yep.
Big heat time. That's the stationary drone for Andy Marakilian's goggles are off. He's had no input into this race at all. Just couldn't get that thing started. Raiden Racing are out front in numbers. Turner's mixing it up with Lenkong, Goto, and Suzuki. And Turner still goes away. Suzuki and Goto still in the air. Suzuki done, Lenkong done. Goto will fight it out with Turner. Remember, as a single heat rerun possibly going to change his score. So it's not all done yet. Turner and Campbell up front. Ibanez joins them. Goto says no. Comes third back from him. Turner still going out front. He had that trouble in the single heat earlier, and he might need to fly another one. Campbell still in the air. No, he's done. Turner and Ibanez up front. One is home for Quad Force 1. Another one taking the long way round. Raiden get a drone in and amongst them. I see a chance there for Quad Force 1 to have got second place in that race, but they took a long time about getting it, and Raiden Racing getting involved. So Evan Turner awarded the heat point for that, and Asami breaks Ibanez and Campbell getting any more there. Now we've got a lot of stuff to sort out here. Quad Force 1 will go 4-1 up after the heats prior to that. Pretty much making perhaps a rerun of that single heat completely unnecessary.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's looking like Quad Force 1 are through to the grand finals. There's a spinning one. It's Quad Force 1. You see it splinter and shatter into the air. Here's Takumi Suzuki. I think we're going to see a lovely bit of turning from him Dangerous fly. Look at those rails.
Coming out very low out of that corner.
Quad Force 1. Alex Campbell on our stage from Quad Force 1. Hello again, Chief. We are doing this quite often this season. You must be pleased.
It's always good talking to you as usual, but besides that, you know, our success has been way more than we could ask for. I love it. The team's loving it. The camaraderie that we're building is next to anything that we've ever done before.
You're very kind, Alex Campbell. We are having fun with you. I've got to ask you something, and it's a little bit challenging, I know. But yesterday when you were racing against Rotorama, everything got quite heated then. You've got this attitude of, like, it's all about fun, but nobody should underestimate how deadly serious you are to do well here.
You know, racing especially brings out the worst in people, even though the worst seems like it can get heated and everything, but racing is fun. In the end of the day, we're all here to have fun. Winning and doing well is just a bonus. Of course, when I see my teammates and everything doing good, I get a little crazy, I get a little hyped up, but all that just comes with racing and the friendship that we've built. We love seeing each other succeed.
And it matters, right? This stuff matters to you. And as a team, Quad Force 1, you've been in 2 finals out of 3 Drone Prix. Big win just hasn't been there because of a team called Next Blades Racing, but they won't be your opponents in the final today.
My thoughts on that is, you know, we always want the best racing possible. We want to race the fastest guy in the final, the 2 people who deserve it. You know, Next Blades deserves it just as much as anybody else, but especially when it comes down to drone racing, there's a lot of luck comes in. You know, some days it's your day, sometimes it's not. Next Blades has had a lot of good days. They're all super crazy fast pilots, scary on the track to fly with. They're just incredible people all in general. We're huge competition, but we're big friends behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's true for all of our wonderful teams. Quad Force 1, congratulations, Chief. You're finalists again.
Thank you.
This is the team who won that semi-final. And not only did they win that Madrid semi-final against Rotorama, they have absolutely destroyed qualifying today. We said that about them yesterday. We spoke too soon. Because if you thought yesterday was good, their qualifying times today are unbelievable. And they are the strong back of the Chief and Quad Force 1. Their opponents, Jan Mittner's team, the Czech Republic champions, Rotorama. Our brilliant team gave us so much exciting during the 2017 season. Quad Force 1 weren't with us last year. Rotorama in the thick of things, won various Drone Prix right up to our finals, which were at Station Berlin last December. Rotorama had a chance of being the world champions of it, but that final day of racing didn't go their way at all. Had trouble in qualifying, just couldn't really get that whole day off the ground. They were 3rd in the 2017 season after just being close to actually getting the trophy at the end.
Yeah, all of the pilots from Rotorama coming out of Czech Republic, they actually have a permanent track as a team where they practice together a lot. Quad Force 1, however, they are a little bit more spread across the US. So they do fly together, but they do it on simulator. So they actually fly online.
10
They
seconds
connect their transmitter to their computer and do it digitally.
We go to our single heat number 1 with Corey Ibanez against Jakob Thoman. What a tasty fight this is going to be, and these are the 2 pilots who were the slowest in qualifying for each of their respective teams. It's only going to get faster from here, and you can't ask for much now. But if you're Jakob Thoman, you could hope to stay in the air a little bit longer. That is a mid-air between him and Corey Ibanez. Corey's swinging it. He has trouble with this finish. He's had trouble getting into the Red Bull gates previously here in Madrid, but it's the point that's his. Yeah. And we knew they would be, as you correctly pointed out. Quad Force 1. 1 point on their way to 250 of them for the season. How is that possible?
Ten seconds countdown.
So the next one has Evan Turner, who nearly had to rerun a single heat earlier on, but was relieved of that after it didn't matter. David Svoboda is his opponent behind him in red for Rotorama. No longer, well, no, actually, yes, very much still behind him. Forever, as far as this single heat is concerned. Until Evan Turner perhaps flies over the top of him, but that's the protest flag from young David Svoboda. So Evan Turner had a little bit of experience of flag waving when it was there was nearly a rerun against him in their race against Raiden Racing. So Evan Turner with a smile on his face.
I see some protest
at least
flags.
secures that. Yeah.
I see some protest flags on the stage. It seemed like Svoboda had some video issues.
Yes, Svoboda has waved his protest flag, which means he is asking for a potential rerun, and you think the video issues, it's almost always the case.
Yeah, yeah. That's why he couldn't even make it to the first gate and crashed there.
So presently...
So we see an appeal made here by their team manager.
Yeah, there it goes. So on the right of your stage, Lucas Baumann, our chief judge, that's the official handing in of a protest officially from Rotorama. He's just going to fold it up. What's he going to do? Post it to him? Like he's standing right there, just hand it to Lucas. Anyway, so if David Svoboda, who's just behind him there, if David Svoboda is found to have had video issues and it's due to the location, not his drone, then there'll be a rerun. That's what nearly happened earlier on. Evan Turner might have had to rerun the single heat that he won in the semi-finals, but after Quad Force 1 won so many points in that semi-final, the rerun of the single heat would have changed nothing, and if that's the case, then it doesn't happen. Next up will be Alex Campbell against Lucas Lemversky. Two pilots it feels like we would have seen race each other before, but it's because they both had so many races just in this 2018 season alone. Yeah. 4 wins out of 7 single heats in earlier drone prees for Alex Campbell. 4 wins out of 6 single heats for Lucas Lemversky. And during qualifying, training and racing today, as you can see, 7 finisher points each. These guys can get laps in here, so this is a proper fight. I like the way this one is shaping up. Lucas can get these single heat wins in, let's say 4 out of 6, but in the 5 big heats he's been in, he hasn't won any of them, and he didn't finish 2 of them. Alex Campbell, 4 out of 7 single heats in the bag, 2 out of 7 big heats in the bag for him. He can get laps in, he can get wins in, but Lemversky leaves him behind. First, DCL closed their gate, has Lemversky through it, 1/5 of a second ahead of Campbell. Campbell not far behind him now. Campbell gaining speed on him in the flatter part of the circuit and takes the lead in the second chicane after going around the first pylon much tighter, but Lemversky closes that gap on him as lap 1 comes to an end. Campbell is down. And Lemversky continues. He's going to get flagged up for a wrong flight, but if Campbell was already down, that it doesn't matter if Lemversky happens to have missed a gate after that point, as he's already progressed further than Campbell managed to do. Lemversky brings it in. In he goes. Campbell's on stage, not fist bumping, but looking fairly casual. So I don't think he's complaining about any reason why that crash happened other than his own.
Yeah, this is where we go.
Lights out. Alex Campbell hits the dirt.
Very low on that DCL gate, clipping the bottom. But overall, super tight racing by both of them.
Yeah.
They were neck and neck.
I would have loved to have seen 3 laps of that.
Yeah.
They were well matched, and they were very, very close to each other. 1 point for Rotorama. It's shaping up like it could be one of those 2 all-do-or-die grand finals. Big heats of a grand final. Really a race to the finish, and the seconds and third places don't come into it. If that's going to be the case, Rotorama need to get a 2nd point on the board. So there's still an under review of the wrong flight going on here, but I think with Alex Campbell being out of that race so quickly, the wrong flight was after Campbell was down and won't change anything unless that wrong flight flag came in very late, but I'm pretty sure that can't be the case.
Well, if he did fly wrong and didn't retake that corner or that gate, it will be interesting to see what happens.
David Svoboda's protest flag of his single heat against Martin Paresh. We'll investigate that and see what is being protested and whether that's still a possible rerun.
Seems that like this is where we get it confirmed.
Let's go to Lucas Baumann on stage.
The wrong flight was checked, but everything was fine.
Okay, so spotters who watch all the FPV views live, they flag up if something they think needs to be investigated at the high speed that we're all watching it at. We're all getting the same video picture as the pilots do. Obviously a little bit difficult to tell, but worth checking. Doesn't change the 2-1 score.
So Votava, the fastest qualifying pilot of Rotorama, he took 6th place in the overall bracket. Marikilian, the fastest pilot on the track, 1st place. Over the 3-lap qualifier that they both fly, there's a 2-second difference between both of them.
Marikilian Votava. Yeah. Now you've got to be worried if you're Jan Votava, to be honest, but you could look back at the 3 drone prix you've had already this season and see 5 wins out of 6 of them. There's something to give you confidence, but Marikilian is so fast here. How does he do it? Well, watch and see. For a start, he's a little bit away, and he's ahead of Votava into the first chicane by some margin, 0.72. Votava's in the air with him and is going to try and get the 3 laps to close this thing down. Of course, he's got into a bit of a slow entry into the middle point of the first chicane, though he didn't come towards the DCL gate wide enough to go round it. Instead, he had to sort of twitch, almost like he was going to fly through it the wrong way. Marikilian now out a long way against Votava. Votava, I'm not even sure, is still in the air. Yes, he is, but he is so far behind that Votava might get lapped by Marikilian. Marikilian here is not behind Votava. He is almost an entire lap ahead of him. Votava goes into chicane number 2. Marikilian perhaps easing off, knowing that this win is definitely his. Nope, he's going to try. Oh, he's got into trouble. Just as Votava was around, Marikilian has definitely slowed down here. Votava's still racing around. Marikilian's just got a little side of him, somewhere in front, but as Votava continues on to lap 3, Marikilian is already done here. Massive high five from his dad. And a nice little spin out of Daddy Marikilian. Votava's still going rounds.
It seemed like Votava has all sorts of problems with his quad. As we can see here, the video is not looking that clean, but also the quad seems to jump a little bit, to bounce in the air. I'm not sure what he was doing. He was pretty much hovering around the track afterwards. But Marikilian, the fastest pilot of the day, was unbeatable. Ah, he missed.
He missed.
Did you see that?
Yeah, it was fast like his son.
Yeah, exactly.
But that time for Marikilian isn't justice of what he can do, because he can lap this thing. What was his qualifying time?
42:48.
In qualifying in 3 laps. Yeah,
time. Yeah,
that's phenomenal, isn't it? Okay, Rotorama. That's what you've got to do. You know how this works. Heat points. 1 if you win the big heats. 2nd if you get a 2nd place behind the leader. And 3rd if you come in 1, 2, and 3. You've got to come in a row. You don't get any points if one team comes in 1st and your team comes in 2nd. That doesn't work. It's got to be the same team clocking all the points up together. Rotorama will need 1st, 2nd, and 3rd here. It's a big ask. And the protest of David Svoboda in single heat 2, I don't think is coming to anything. I think the heat points are going to stay as they are over the single heats. And that means it is a case of Rotorama going to need to get some points. But one of our gates at 11:32 p.m. here in Madrid is deciding it fancies a bit of a lie down. That's the end of lap gate. That's the one where you complete all your laps. You have to go through that 3 times. When you come out of the starting blocks, you actually miss that one. You fly by it. But then at the end of all of our laps here in Leventis, you have to go through that one. And the gate, fancy's just like it's past its bedtime. Well, we'll get that worked out. This gives our pilots a little bit of time to reflect on what they need to do. We have Corey Ibanez already standing. We have Evan Turner standing next to him on stage. Some of our pilots like to stand. Some of our pilots like to sit. Rotorama, a little bit more of a sitting down kind of team.
They are.
Quad Force 1, there you go, standing up. Corey closest to us, Evan Turner behind him.
So the pilots,
Marakilian, he's a stander as well.
Yeah, so the pilots are ready, and also our team of runners is reviving the timing gate.
Reviving it?
Yeah, they are.
Are they conducting, what, GPR would it be? Waiting to go.
Yeah, the pilots are not sure what's going on, but as I can see, behind our desk,
because
actually,
the gate that's collapsed is behind the stage.
Here we go. Here we go.
They have no view of that unless they look over at the big screen, which they are now. They're looking over at the big screen so they can see exactly what the delay is. Yep, we need to get that gate fixed.
Yep.
And you know what it's going to get fixed with. Champion of so many live events. The savior of live events. I've hosted and commentated and presented over 1,000 live events in my career around the world. Not all drone racing, lots of different things. Yep, duct tape.
Duct tape, that's
Can't
it.
live without it. Gaffer tape, that works too. It's a big team of runners. It's such a big crew with the Drone Champions League. There's a spotter for all of our 8 FPV views. There are runners everywhere to recover things. Meanwhile, Lucas Val's drone still gazes down onto the Las Ventas from the top netting. That'll get recovered overnight. The team have been here till 5:30 in the morning, building this circuit every day for this week since Sunday night.
Yep.
It is a very demanding thing to build a drone racing circuit, a professional, world-class, world championship standards in, you know, buildings that are built 87 years ago for something very, very different indeed.
Yeah, normally over 44,000 people fit into the arena.
It is a massive place, and this drone racing circuit is 380 meters all the way around. That gate's getting patched. That man, one of the senior people at DCL, examining the work of the runners. 3 of our Quad Force 1 pilots have goggles on. All their quads are lit on the starting blocks. I'm not talking about the podiums. They're lit. The drones are all in position. That lights the podiums up. But as you can see there in the wide shot of the beautiful Leventis and at the back of the picture, that's our starting blocks glowing in blue and red for Quad Force 1 and Rotorama. The podiums are lit because the drones are on them. The reason the blue ones are brighter is because the drones are lit now. Those quads are armed and ready to go. Rotoramas are parked and silent at present. That little screen you see on the stone blocks, that's so our runners and our spotters at the starting blocks can check locally. The video feed is on for all the drones. We here on our commentary desk can see all 8 drones view as well. They're all lit. Video is live.
Some last minute stitching.
That is a belts and braces.
Yeah.
To use a very old-fashioned expression, that is this do or die that we talk about occasionally in big heats to get your team through the next one. This gate is a do or die patch job, isn't it? That is not coming down again.
I don't think it's going back home, actually.
It may not ever be coming back down after we've plugged every hole on that thing.
It looks good.
Yeah, it does. And I think that's our social media director actually helping get it all patched. It is the DCL crew. It's very much an all-hands-on-deck thing to make these things happen, which is why we bring you such incredible events. Quad Force 1 goggles up now. A couple of them are sitting down. Evan's still standing. Andy Marakilian, he's still up. Rotorama sat patiently, not burning their lipos. I'm surprised to see Quad Force 1's drones are all lit. The video's all on. Doesn't mean the LEDs have to be. As you can see, Rotorama are now, goggles on the right-hand side of our stage, and goggles are coming down Quarterfinals one is tense, this, isn't it? Who do you think is going to win it? Let us know. Wherever you're joining us, thank you for watching the Drone Champions League. USA or Czech Republic, Quad Force 1 or Rotorama. Big heat time. The score is 3 points to 1 for Quad Force 1. Their big win. Could it be this time? Two of the drones think so. They belong to Marakilian and Campbell. Of course it's Marakilian out in front. Everybody on Rotorama needs to worry about him. Votava and Lemborski are out of the big heat in the grand final. Marakilian's up front. Turner is being troubled by one of the Rotorama drones, but that may have disappeared out of the picture. There are still 4 Quad Force 1 drones in the air. Jakob Thoman, though, is not looking like he's going to mix things up. He's spinning a bit. He's got into all sorts of trouble coming through the Breitling gate. He's still in the air of it, but Quad Force 1 are first, second, third, and fourth right now. Andy Marakilian is devouring the chicane as he's done again and again and again. Absolutely no problem for him. Chicane number 2 is in pieces as his drone flies around it. He owns this circuit. He will never forget flying here. And this is it for Quad Force 1. And of course, Ali Marakilian is the champion of that race. He gets it for Quad Force 1. Up goes another point on the board as another one comes in for him. 6-1 could be the final score in a massive sweep for Quad Force 1. Finally they do it. Finally the Americans are the champions of a Drone Prix with the Drone Champions League. That is something they have fought for again and again and again, and of course all the teams here want to win this thing. But I am so pleased for Marakilian in particular to just devour this course. Owned every part of it. From start to finish over all of the racing we've done on 2 separate dates here in Madrid. All his, all Quad Force 1s today. Rotorama leave our stage, fist bumps to the champions. But the Americans and their stars and stripes finally gets waved for the big win.
They were just absolutely unstoppable. There's no denying, no question about this clean, clear, well-deserved victory.
Every team wants to win every Drone Prix we do, right? There are points for the season, 250 points for being the big winner of a Drone Prix. Of course, every team wants to win every Drone Prix we do, but when you've been in 2 out of 3 grand finals, out of 3 Drone Prix in a season, so desperately they wanted that.
Get in here, baby.
Get in here, baby, says Alex Campbell to his teammates who are joining him live on our stage. Alex Campbell.
Get up here,
congratulations to Quad Force 1, champions finally of a Drone Champions League Drone Prix. Alex, you finally got the big one.
Yeah, we did. You know, I didn't get the big one. Quad Force 1 got the big one. If it wasn't just the pilots, our team manager held everything together. Coop, you're bad news, dude. You're bad news. We had a blast out there racing. I think today we earned this W, and I couldn't be more proud of me and my boys for this one.
I think that's all well said. I think that's all well deserved too. Nice of you to give props there to Cooper as well. He hasn't been racing with us this stop on our tour of the world of drone racing, but he was brilliant when he raced for you back in Munich. But as a team, you've done so well, and yeah, nice to see some support for the daddy of the team, Daddy Marakilian too. Great racing though. Can I ask, if I can quickly ask the other Marakilian, if you don't mind handing the mic over for me. Fastest in qualifying yesterday, even faster in qualifying today, racking up wins for your team. How have you just owned this course so well both times we've raced here?
It's in my DNA, I guess. I get it from my dad.
More props for the dad. Nicely done. So a big win on the board, 250 points for you. We head to an amazing location that we can't say yet, but you must be feeling brilliant about the season ahead of us.
Yes.
And pass the mic along. I want to have a quick chat with Evan and Corey while we've got you there. Evan, how are you feeling?
This is incredible.
Corey, welcome to the Drone Champions League. You weren't with us out in Munich, but a big tour for you. You were showing us at the start of the show how to set up drones. Seems like they were all set up pretty well.
Yeah, coming in is my first race, part of the DCL, trying to keep up with everybody who has the experience from Munich. My team helped me out a lot. And, you know, it worked out for everybody. It's a team effort, and everyone was super important, and we all flew amazing. Our qualifying times were solid. Everybody, there was no one lagging behind. It was great.
Congratulations, the big W is finally yours, Quad Force 1!
I gotta say, I love those guys, man.
Yes, yes,
I love those guys.
I know, and they are picking up fans so many well, but you know what they're also doing? Picking up points. That standings is in need of a little bit of work, because Quad Force 1 picked up 250 points today, and they already had 440. They're now on 690 points, and Rotorama will be adding 220 points for coming second. 220 points for Rotorama. Runners up to Quad Force 1 there means they are now on 750 points for the season so far. So yeah, Quad Force 1 not at the top of the leaderboard just yet. Next place Racing Rotorama still hanging around at the top of things. But Quad Force 1 are champions there. What an amazing day of racing we've had here in Madrid. So nice to come back here and do more of it again. We will get our prize giving underway with our amazing teams. So thanks to everybody for joining us here at the Drone Champions League and our amazing Drone Prix number 4 of the 2018 season. Let's welcome to our podium, third place here, Raiden Racing. Here they come to our stage. After a disappointing day yesterday, well-deserved third place to the Japanese team of Raiden Racing. And after that thrilling grand final that we've just witnessed, please welcome our runners-up, Rotorama. But our champions of our second stop in Madrid on the World Tour, that is the Drone Champions League. Please congratulate the US team of Quad Force 1! Great scenes here in Madrid. We've absolutely loved coming to the capital of Spain. Martin, this one will live long in the memory.
Oh, definitely. It's been absolutely brilliant. I look forward to the next one in Austin.
It's in August, and it's in an incredible location that we can't say. I need to keep this job. There, though, are the champions. Wet now. Quad Force 1 get the big win on the 4th Drone Prix of 2018 for the world's best drone racing series, the Drone Champions League. Thank you so much to all of the crew and the wonderful people who've joined us here in the center of Plaza de Toros de las Ventas. We leave Madrid with Quad Force 1 as our champions here. But who's next? Well, make sure you stick with the world's best series, the Drone Champions League.